As discussed in the last video, controllers are not a suitable place for application state persistence. So let's go ahead and create a new C# class inside of a new folder. Go into your project, right click and add a new folder to your project and call that folder data. So this is also a usual habit that you will see in web development, to name a folder which cares about persistent storage data. In that data folder, right click again, go ahead and add a new class. We will call this class, we'll take a simple C# class right here, and we'll call it entities. Awesome. Now we need to get our lists, which we are now using for storage inside of the application, inside of our controllers, here into that entity class. So go ahead and open up the controller, passenger controller. Inside there, we got that static private list passengers, right? So simply take it, right click, and then just cut it out, save it, move to entities, and paste it right into the class. Now for sure we need to be able to access it. So instead of making it private, we will instead make it public so that we can access it from outside of this class. Now he also doesn't know type passenger, not a problem at all. Hold the cursor above it or press Ctrl dot and then show potential fixes and implement the using flight domain entities namespace right here. Now switch back to our passenger controller after saving. You can see that we have some errors here. Let's go ahead and import a new namespace using flights.data. Great, so now let's scroll down and everywhere we got that passengers, we simply, before that, we're gonna call entities class, right? And since entities here is our new class and it got that static list, we can for sure access it without creating an instance. So entities passengers add. We for sure do that everywhere here, everywhere where it's referenced at all. Awesome. Okay, now we call the entities class and inside there the list to add, find, and so on. Now let's switch to our flight controller. Here we got the same thing going on with that static private list flights. So let me just collapse that. Here we got it now with all of the content. I'll copy it, or however we can also go ahead and cut it. So not a problem at all, right click, cut, it's easier, visible for you, save it like this. Go to entities and for sure again, paste it inside here with all of the content. I will again collapse it and you can see that we need random for sure. So let's create a static random, static random, random equals to new random. So now we can use a random again inside here, right? Because for our flight data, we need some random elements. And again, we need to be able to access this flights. So let's go ahead and change the access modifier, static public list. Great. Okay, now let's rename that flights here, right? Because here we got passengers in uppercase. So let's go ahead and do that. Flights, right click, rename flights. There we go. And hit apply. Now all references should also be updated. As I said, always make sure to right click and rename to update all references. Now let's switch back to our flight controller because we got some errors here that we need to take care of again. So also here, add a using directive flights.data. Inside there we got the entities class. So let's implement it. Entities. There you go. Dot flights. And now let's scroll down. I will copy it here. And also paste it everywhere where it's referenced and showing that error. There we go. Awesome. Now next up we will test our application. So I will start it right now. And while it's running, I can already tell that the next part in the next video, what we're doing is really interesting because we will create a service from our new created entity class. And that's something you really want to use very often in ASP.NET Core, right? How you can create services and inject them in other classes by using the dependency injection. So after the testing, we will take a look at a very, very cool topic. All right, now let's start booking a flight. So first of all, let me search for a flight. And we got 2 remaining seats here. So let me book, let me register, jl@dev.com for example. However, I want to mention that later on in that challenge here, we will now fix that step. So when you click on login, you get redirected, right? But you already clicked on a flight. So we will fix this, but it's at the very end of this challenge. Now let's click on search again, click on book. Let's book 5 seats. We should not be able to do that. Awesome. Let's book 2 seats. My booking works. Awesome. And if you take a look at the console, you should see some errors from that booking 5 passengers with that conflict. Awesome. And then we booked 2 passengers. So everything from logging in to booking a flight worked fine. Great. Now let's switch to the new exciting topic about creating services and injecting them in ASP.NET Core.